Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I should be further along by now? Maybe in your career or relationships, your confidence and your dreams. Maybe you thought you'd have it figured out by this age. Maybe you assumed that uncertainty would eventually disappear. Maybe you believed there would be a day when you could finally feel finished. At some point, we stop saying, I'm learning, and we start saying, this is just who I am. Yep. This is where, but that's not hello. That's not uh, what we want to say. We want to say, this is where I am right now. This is where I am right now, because that leaves room for possibility. And maybe that's the truth we need today. You're not finished. You're not fixed. You're still becoming. Sully and Jess, welcome in everyone here to Kindness Rising, the whole crew getting up, getting after it this morning on our journey. As our journey continues here on Kindness Rising without a net. This week, all week long, our theme has been believing bigger. Yesterday, we talked about acting as if the door is open, acting as if you belong. But today, there's another question underneath the lesson. Act as if what? Who are you becoming? Because if you believe your identity is already finished, there's no reason to move. If you believe your abilities are fixed, then there's no reason to really practice. And if you believe your best chapter has already been written, there's no reason to turn the page. Today's lesson is you are still becoming, and once again, our musical thread comes from Terrapin Station. Robert Hunter wrote, inspiration, move me brightly. Sometimes inspiration moves us towards a goal, and sometimes it moves us away from an identity we've outgrown. Sometimes it introduces us to a version of ourselves we have not met yet, and that's where we're headed today. Yep, that is where we're headed today here on Kindness Rising. Roseanne, good morning. Good morning, Mother. I am glad my core crew is here. Jess, Mike, Roseanne, you guys are all here, and I bet others will be joining us just real soon. Real soon. All right. All right. Sorry, I got stuck reading comments. But Mike, I appreciate what you're saying. New identity last year on a piece of paper and refined and updated. I love that. Refining and updating. Absolutely. And working on it, not just writing on the paper, right? So you're showing up every day. You're doing the things that you need to do to reach whatever that vision is for yourself. My screen is all crooked. All right, that feels better to me for some reason. All right, let's do our Who in the World. I'm glad you guys are here. We got a good one for you today. Someone who I genuinely appreciate, because this person didn't even publish the work that transformed their life until they were nearly 50 years old. So many people feel they're falling behind. Even at 50, we feel we're falling behind. At 40, at 30. This person did not publish that work until the work that changed their life, thrust them into the spotlight, I guess you might say, until they were nearly 50. All right. And speaking of spotlights, we certainly can't go a day without actually, I think I've missed 1 or 2 days, but we don't ever want to miss a day without a spotlight. And I'm keeping it local again today because I'm just feeling like a local yokel lately. No, there's just so much good that's going on in my community right here. And I hope my investigation into my community helps you start looking at things within yours. Or maybe there are ideas. Maybe it's something like, oh, we should do that here. I could get this thing started. So we're going to do our spotlight right now. All right. Today's spotlight belongs to an organization that understands the courage required to become a beginner again. Absolutely. Not the greatest website. They're focused on helping people, not building a beautiful website. Maybe they need help. Literacy volunteers of Broome and Tioga County. They work with adults who want to strengthen their reading, writing, math, English language, and everyday communication skills. Think about the vulnerability required to ask for that kind of help as an adult. Children are expected to be learners. They raise their hand, they sound out words, they make mistakes in public and ask questions. But adults often feel pressured to conceal what they don't know. We're expected to have it figured out, to understand the form, to read the instructions, to write the email. Absolutely. And when someone struggles, the safest response can feel like silence. Pretend you understand, avoid the situation, hope no one notices. Literacy volunteers of Broome and Tioga County creates another possibility. A person can say, I don't know this yet, not I'm incapable. Simply, I've not learned this yet. That one word matters, yet. Through patient, individualized support, volunteer tutors help adults build practical skills, greater independence, and confidence. They create a place where a beginner is not humiliating, it's courageous. So today we shine our spotlight on literacy volunteers of Broome and Tioga counties, and on every adult with the courage to say, I don't know this yet, but I am capable of learning. All right, that was our spotlight. Oh, I triggered a comment from Jess. Digital literacy, absolutely. So much. There are doors that can be opened for people, for sure, through digital literacy, reading, absolutely. Support your local libraries, people. That wasn't my intended message for today, but something I'm thinking about, right? Mom, we certainly have had our load of books lately. Oh boy, quite a project cleaning out books with my mom and my kid and figuring things out. Had my kids sorting books into the Dewey Decimal System, but we're going to get rid of some of those, right? Donate them to the library so other people can read them and enjoy them. Absolutely. All right. Let's do this thing. Wait, that happened today. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I saw this and just reminded me that would be a good story for today. It's a really good story. August 4th, 1936. August 4th, 1936, Jesse Owens, he won his first gold of 4 gold medals at the Berlin Olympic Games. He entered a stadium that was built actually to promote Nazi propaganda and ideas of racial superiority. Then he performed at a new level surrounding those games that no one could explain away. People remember the races, the medals, the podiums, the photographs. We remember the moment success became visible, but success rarely begins when the cameras arrive, of course. Before the stadium, there were years of training, repetition, discipline, sacrifice. Days when the result wasn't obvious. Days when people were actively cheering against Jesse Owens. He was becoming. That is something we often miss when we look at accomplished people. We see the finished image, but we don't see the unfinished person. We see the medal, but we don't see the thousands of ordinary decisions that made the medal possible. We see the public moment, but we don't see the private becoming. And that can distort the way we judge ourselves. We compare our unfinished work to somebody else's most visible project. Then we decide we're behind. But becoming usually happens when almost no one is watching. The race simply reveals what the quieter days we're building. And yes, that happened today. All right. Oh, man. Howdy, Jerry. Jerry Ginger in the house joining us this morning. Absolutely. Jess, promoting digital literacy. That was the one, huh? That was the trigger for Jess opening up a possibility of an online education. That's amazing. It can be intimidating, right? To try to do something new. There's so many opportunities driven by the pandemic and the technology changes that we have and all those things. But holy crap, it can be overwhelming. Digital literacy, what a wonderful, wonderful idea. More people. It needs to be, we need to learn. We need to learn. Absolutely. All right, let's get to clue number 2 in our Who in the World. Who in the world are we talking about today? Remembering our first clue that this person's seminal work was not even published, the one that transformed their life, until after they were nearly 50. All right, second one. Her unusual voice, personality, and willingness to make mistakes eventually made her a TV icon. A TV icon with an unusual voice, personality, and willingness to make mistakes is our second clue in our Who in the World. All right. All right. All right. All right. I'm apparently channeling my Matthew McConaughey Wooderson from right, Wooderson? Wasn't that his name? Dazed and Confused. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit here about this. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with this tune. It's fun, right? It's a little driving, pushing us forward, keeping the energy up here on Kindness Rising, just like we do every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Yes, right here on Kindness Rising. We don't miss a day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, getting started for Mornings in the Lab Network. Before we get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends, Brianna Bass will be over there today, so check it out. Relationships and sex and adult conversation over on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends this Tuesday morning. But what we're here for today on Kindness Rising is talking about mindset. Mindset that can change the way we experience growth. A fixed mindset treats ability as something permanent. You either have it or you don't. You're either creative or you're not. You're a leader or you're not. You're good with technology or you're not. You get it? Then when something goes badly, the failure feels personal. It does not simply mean that attempt didn't work. It means this reveals who I am. A growth mindset makes a different interpretation. Ability can develop. Skills can be practiced. Understanding can deepen, and failure can provide information. The moment's not a verdict, it's just data. Yep. It doesn't mean anyone can become anything ever that they imagine, and it doesn't mean that effort guarantees every outcome. But it means the person you are today is not the absolute limit of the person you may become. And the language we speak to ourselves plays a huge role. I'm bad at this versus I'm learning at this. I'm not creative versus I have not practiced creating. I'm not a leader versus I'm still learning how to lead. How about I can't do this versus I can't do this yet? Yet is such a small word, but it leaves the door open. The danger of permanent identity language is that it can turn a difficult season into your lifelong sentence. We say this is just who I am, but sometimes that sentence really matters. That is the safest explanation I have for why change feels different. It's easier to call something an identity than to admit that we are uncertain, because uncertainty requires patience, practice, humility, and the willingness to be visibly unfinished. That's the challenge. Most of us are comfortable admiring growth. We are less comfortable being seen while it's happening. That's the lesson today. All right, we're rocking and rolling. All right, we're gonna keep going and going. Susie Q on my Facebook page. Okay, I don't even really go to Facebook, but I will go over there because you told me you left me a message there, Susie Q. LinkedIn is by far the best way to communicate with me, or email. I have my email out there available, but I will check out Facebook. I can't afford this. Yep. Ooh, I like that one, Jerry. Fail with flair. I love it. I love it. Before the crash and burn. You know what that means? You are putting yourself out there with style. We all do it too, though. That's okay. The question, Jerry, I think is, do you learn from it, right? You crash and burn, you have a little flare, you crash and burn, and you go, okay, what did I learn? I saw somebody. Okay, Susie, things are making sense now. Okay, I'll check it out. I really appreciate you. Susie Q, person I've met over the past couple of weeks here. We've been exchanging some information, hanging out, Grateful Dead fans, and she offered to send me a gift for no reason at all. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Yeah, like, yep. I love it, Sully. Very cool. Very cool. All right. I'm going to break it down and get a little personal about me now. It's all about me. No, I hope all it is an example, maybe. This is not about my ego. This is not about fluffing myself up. As a matter of fact, it's about admitting that 5 dead music books. That's amazing. Yeah, so this isn't, I'm not here for my ego. I'm not here to, yeah, I like it. There's no question about it. I like being here. I love the interaction. It gets me excited, but that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. Let me tell you a little bit more about what it is about. Let's find a song I want to play for that. Oh, I haven't done this one. This one I call Sunrise on Hate Street. All right. I spent more than 25 years building a career in healthcare leadership. I know that world, the language, the acronyms, and trust me, there are a lot of acronyms. Healthcare can turn any human activity into three capital letters. I know how meetings work. I know how to prepare for senior leaders and read a budget. I know how organizations behave when they're healthy, and I also know how they behave when everyone's smiling in the meeting but freaking out in the parking lot. I understand operations, people, programs, strategy. I have deep experience, education, and a long list of accomplishments that might even qualify me as an expert. 25 years. Then I walked away. The reasons are varied and personal and not really what's important right now, but what is important is that at 50 plus years old, I am a beginner again. The steepness of the learning curve of what I've been doing over the past year cannot be overestimated. I am upside down, inside out, and all around often. Live streaming, cameras, audio, lighting, editing, storytelling, AI, marketing, analytics, building a business, selling. I mean, you get it, right? Creating content, understanding why one video performs better than the other. The other one just kind of disappears. What? I thought that was going to be awesome. And if I'm honest, there's days when I wonder if I started over too late. Days when the technology doesn't cooperate, when I prepare something I believe is really strong, and then it gets one view and a couple of thumbs downs. I don't know. There are moments when I look at people who've spent years mastering this world and I think, what the hell am I doing here? I know how to be a healthcare leader. This version of me is still under construction. And that's uncomfortable because when we're children, everyone expects us to be beginners. We celebrate the first day of school, the first bike ride, even our first job and our first apartment, the first time making dinner, but by ourselves. Yeah. Nobody expects mastery. We expect mistakes and questions and growth. Then somewhere along something changes. Somewhere along the line, something changes. We stop celebrating being beginners and we're like, I should know this. I'm too old for this. I shouldn't have to ask for help. Yep. We all feel that way at times, but those sentences become a prison. Not because they're always completely false, but because they leave no room for movement, no room for growth. They turn today's condition into your identity. They confuse where we are with who we are. There are parts of this new chapter that I'm good at, and there are parts that I am still learning. There are parts I may never master, but I'm beginning to understand something. Being a beginner does not erase everything that came before. I didn't lose the 25 years of leadership experience when I stepped in front of a camera. I brought it with me. The judgment, the stories, the understanding of people, the ability to connect ideas, those lessons, they all came with me. I'm not starting from nothing. I'm starting from experience in a new direction. And that is different. That's reinvention. Because reinvention doesn't always mean abandoning who you are. Sometimes it means allowing everything you have lived to become useful, but in a new way. Yep. Maybe I'm not failing because I don't know everything yet. Maybe I'm just learning. Maybe I'm on my own timeline. Yep. So this is the line I want us to hold today. Your current season is not your permanent identity. Let me say it again. Your current season is not your permanent identity. You may be in a season of uncertainty. That doesn't mean you're going to be uncertain forever. You may be in a season of grief. That doesn't mean you're never going to experience joy again. You have to learn. You're allowed to be a beginner. You're allowed to ask questions and change your mind and outgrow an identity that once fit you. To discover the gifts you didn't know you had yet, and to become someone you have not met yet. And lastly, sometimes those things that you leave behind, they come back. But they come back and you're new too with it. Sure, there will probably be a time when I will lean back into my healthcare career, and I'm proud of that. But I will do it with new eyes. Yep. And I'm not going to stop doing this. That's for sure. And that's the lesson. You can become something new and carry what you had with you. Thanks. Thanks for listening to Without a Net. Kind of digging this tune. All right. Yes, I'm a digital music creator too sometimes. Suno is the program I use for digital music, finding my vibe. I recreate regular music. What's regular music and what's irregular music? I don't know. Okay, let's get to our final clue because I've been yakking for too long and I know you're chomping at the bit. I saw we had a guess. Who did you guess? You guessed Carol Burnett, right? Somebody guessed Carol Burnett. I forgot where it was in the chat. I saw it in my peripheral. It's not Carol Burnett. All right. Let's get that. Clue number one. We'll get to our third clue. I have a feeling this one is going to clinch it. Did not publish their seminal work, the one that transformed their life, until they were nearly 50. Her unusual voice, personality, and willingness to make mistakes eventually made her a TV icon. Lastly, she's remembered as one of the most influential figures in American food and culture. Yes, food culture person who didn't get started till they were 50 and has an unusual voice and personality. Okay. Let's get to the compass. You guys, I'm not even looking at the chat. I don't know who's guessing what right now. Go ahead and guess. I have a feeling someone already knows it. Here is today's kindness compass. Listen for the language of permanent identity, especially when it comes from you. I'm just not creative. I've never been good at this. I'm too old. I'm not a leader. I can't change. This is just who I am. When you hear yourself say one of those sentences, pause. Then replace it with, this is where I am right now. I'm not a leader yet, not forever, right now. Then name one thing you're still learning, not failing at learning. Maybe you're learning to communicate, to lead, to be alone, to trust, to use technology, to care for yourself physically. Whatever it is, learning to create or begin again. Do not demand mastery from yourself today. Just tell yourself the truth about becoming. And that's today's kindness compass. Boop, boop, doo, 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 boop, 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 boop. There's my mom. There's my mom. There's Jess. Julia, child. Mike, Sully, Susie, Yeah, and metal fans, Joe. I missed the conversation about metal fans. All right. List of late bloomers. Julia Child, Julia Child. Oh, I've cut the dickens out of my finger. Everybody remember that Saturday Night Live, of course, Dan Aykroyd. But really, why I chose her is because she became one of the most recognizable chefs in American history. But before that, she'd already lived several different lives. Advertising, she worked in the Office of Strategic Services during World War II, and then she moved overseas and started studying French cuisine, but not until her late 30s. Yep, she struggled, she practiced, she learned, she developed. She didn't publish Mastering the Art of French Cooking until she was nearly 50 years old. She wasn't late, she was just becoming. And we look at someone like Julia Child and assume she always had been heading toward that identity. But there were decades when the world didn't know her as a chef. There were decades when she did not know herself that way either. She had not missed her moment. Her moment just hadn't arrived yet. And that may be true for more of us than we realize. Run, run, run for the roses. All good things in all good time, my friend Susie. I just did a little short, not just a couple weeks ago. All good things in all good time. That's how it happens. Absolutely. Some of us age like fine wine. Yes, Mom, you got it. You got it. I know you are a fan. Absolutely. I love watching cooking shows with you. Oh, I forgot to put her picture up. There she is with that hunk of meat. I can't help but think of her. That Dan Aykroyd thing with Saturday Night Live. The other thing that I want to tell you about, I learned a lot about Julia Child. There was a movie recently. I know maybe people saw that, but there was a featured exhibit at. Oh my God! Oh, I know what it is. The National Archives. National Archives in Washington, D.C. had a huge featured exhibit on Julia Child. It was really cool. It was really cool. All her stuff and her shows and her story. Really awesome. Cool place to go if you ever have a chance. The National Archive, I think they still let people in. I don't know. Oh, I've cut the dickens out of my finger. Oh, it's just a little wound. Oh, beef bourguignon and coq au vin. Here's today's. Oh, I already did today's kindness compass. Holy crap! You got me riffing. Here's our thread. Robert Hunter. We know Bobby Hunter. We keep coming back to it. Inspiration moved me brightly. But inspiration doesn't always tell us exactly where we are going. Sometimes it simply makes the old identity feel too small. It creates restlessness, curiosity, a sense that there might be more. Not because the life we live is wrong, but because life continues to ask new things of us. Yesterday we talked about acting as if, and today we remembered why that's possible. Because the person you are today is not the final version. You're not fixed. You're not finished. Your current season is not your permanent identity, so don't apologize for learning. Don't be ashamed of beginning, and don't confuse uncertainty with failure. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to become someone you have not met yet. Inspiration moved me brightly. That was the show for today. I appreciate every single one of you that has come out. Susie Q, Jess, Sully, Roseanne, Jerry Ginger, everyone who gets involved in the comments and is part of the Kindness Rising community. We are here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. And then we get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends right now. I will see you tomorrow morning. Until then, stay uncommon and stay kind.